You know the name, but do you know the man? Huey P. Newton. And if you don't, you've definitely felt the impact of what he built, because the government made damn sure that you did. See, when they couldn't kill the message, they just killed the man. And even then, the ideas outlived them all. Huey wasn't some overnight radical. He was a college student reading law, reading philosophy, reading about the systems that told him that he didn't matter. And he realized the truth. Knowledge is power. But power without protection isn't freedom. So in 1966, he co-founded the Black Panther Party with Bobby Seale, not as a gang, not as a cult, but as a defense organization. They studied the law and armed themselves, legally, of course, and said if the state won't protect us, then we'll just protect ourselves. That was radical, but only because this country hated to see Black people organized. People love to quote the image, the leather jackets, the shotguns, the glare. But they forget the structure. The free breakfast programs, free medical clinics, free sickle cell testing, schools, housing support, political education, all built by people that the government called terrorists, while Hoover and the FBI ran COINTELPRO to destroy them. The Panthers were feeding children and fighting hunger. And America called that a threat? They made Huey a symbol of fear, not because he was violent, but because he refused to bow. He was arrested, beaten, and smeared by the same media that later called the Panthers too militant. But understand this: the system never fears chaos, it fears unity. Huey didn't just talk about revolution, he studied it, intellectualized it, humanized it. He believed that liberation wasn't just resistance, it was reimagining the world that made resistance necessary in the first place. That's why they infiltrated, divided, and dismantled the Panthers from the inside out. Because when poor Black people started feeding each other, defending each other, and teaching each other to think, that was the real threat. Huey P. Newton died in 1989, shot in the street of West Oakland by a 24-year-old member of a group called the Black Guerrilla Family. After years of FBI surveillance, political exile, prison time, and infighting fueled by COINTELPRO, he was isolated, struggling with addiction, and living inside a movement that had been gutted from the inside. And still, even in his death, the headlines focused on his fall, not the system that broke him. Because it's easier to paint revolutionaries as cautionary tales than to ask why the revolution was necessary in the first place. But if you've ever eaten a school breakfast, seen a community health clinic, or watched activists talk about self-determination, you've seen Huey's work still breathing. So yeah, we know who he was. We know what he means to us. He showed us what it looks like when intellect meets courage, when education meets revolution, and when love for your people means building even when the system wants you gone. They called him dangerous because he made freedom look organized. But the truth? He made it look possible. Say his name. Huey P. Newton.